What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? The Podfather here. There might be slight background noise, but here's our recap of WrestleMania Night 1.
Bulletcast for life.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a night we will truly never ever forget. This is our recap of Night 1 of WrestleMania. Can I say tonight was the grandest stage of them all, the showcase of the Immortals? We'll see. We'll see. I'm your host, the Podfather Phillip Antwine, still your reigning, defending Bulletcast champion, just like Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish, Roddy Strong, and Adam Cole, baby. It's Tyler Reina's hashtag forever undisputed. For life, brother. But you know I never do these podcasts alone. He's my tag team partner, the Jimmy to my J, the Tully to my R, and the Stevie Ray to my Booker T. Ladies and gentlemen, he is host of the award-winning Under the Radar, host and creator of Curveballs and Chair Shots, the Canadian Destroyer BT, Brandon Tanguma. Brandon, how are you doing after watching Night 1 of WrestleMania?
You know, Philip, I'm doing just fine. It's definitely a show we're never going to forget. Lowest attended WrestleMania of all time, and I'm going to go on a limb and say that record won't be broken for a very long time.
That's a great possibility. So we're just going to jump right into it, man. Stephanie McMahon opens up the show discussing about we're going through a interesting time in the world, and then they play a myriad of collaborations from people who have sung America the Beautiful over the years. You've had Aretha Franklin, you've had John Legend, you've had Little Richard, Ray Charles, Michelle from Destiny's Child. You've had all these amazing acts, and then Gronk opens up the show, and because he's Gronk, and yeah. Anyway, the first match on the card, the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Twisted Bliss, Alexa Bliss, and Nikki Cross. Brandon, I'm going to be completely honest with you, man. I was asleep when this match was happening. Tell us what happened.
Well, this match went about 15 minutes, and I thought it was actually quite a good match. I thought it was maybe not the best match of the show, but I thought it was in contention for a majority of the match, or for a majority of the show. I thought that this might have been the best match of Nikki and Alexa's careers. You know, with no crowd, it is kind of hard to gauge how good a match really is, but I thought both women worked hard. Being the first match of the show, it is in a special environment, and you don't exactly know what to get from these matches on the show, but I thought it started off good. Shout out Nikki Cross, shout out Sean with the Thicky Cross, because, gotta show some love to her, and now they're tag team champions.
Congratulations to Bliss and Cross. What letter grade would you give this match?
Overall, overall, this show is going to be kind of graded on a curve. I think I'm going to give it a B+. I enjoyed it quite a bit. Asuka, we know, very vocal, making a lot of noise throughout the entire show, or throughout the entire match. So there's not a lot of downtime, not a lot of silence throughout the entire match. So it wasn't as awkward as maybe some of the other matches on the show. So I enjoyed it quite a bit, maybe more than other people did.
All right. Next up, we have match 2, King Corbin versus Elias. I'm not going to lie to you, I was asleep for this one too. Brandon, what happened?
Well, Philip, I wish I was asleep for this one, because as I said during the preview, this match definitely did not need to happen. And I thought Baron Corbin was going to get the job done, because Elias, he comes out, he strums his guitar and gets interrupted. He's not really a wrestler, he's not really any storylines, so I thought, Baron Corbin gets the win, but nope. Elias rolls him up, yanks the tights. I think this is going to be a theme throughout the night, is that this match was definitely not the blow-off, it's just a placeholder for whenever the hell WWE gets back to normal, or, gets back on track after the stay-at-home order, and maybe they're on an off-season for a month or two.
All right. Next up, we have the Raw Women's Championship match. Becky Lynch successfully retained the Raw Women's title against Shayna Baszler. Becky did a nice pinning combination, a clever transition out of the submission, the Karafuda clutch, and Becky Lynch still the champ. I'll give it a C.
I thought it was not a foregone conclusion, but I thought that Shayna was going to win. They teased it early on with a Karafuda clutch early. The match itself, I thought, was good. I guess it was very fast-paced, not a lot of breathing room, I would say. So I think this match is kind of difficult to grade because there was no crowd, and I don't really know if I like this match or not. I'm kind of on the fence. So if we're gonna go grades, I think I'll go with the C, just average, not like in love with it, didn't hate it too much, but this is kind of the finish we've seen with Shayna Baszler a billion times. Karafuda clutch, the person rolls over, pins her. I think maybe Ember Moon or we've seen. I think that's like the main reason she's been beaten in NXT is that exact maneuver. So you would think that Shayna Baszler would smarten up and know to roll over or let go of the hold or something like that. But I guess that's a weak point in her game.
Oh yeah, she's not used to being on the big stage. That's something she's gonna have to work on. What grade would you give Becky and Shayna?
I said I was gonna give it to C. I did not give a grade to the Elias Baron Corbin match. I think I'm just gonna give it a D, maybe a D plus. They were fine. Nobody got hurt. That's all we can ask for.
Absolutely. All right, next up, the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn, he's the Intercontinental Champion, and he is the leader of the Artist Collective. He gets a win over Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. D-Bry's your guy, Brandon. Take us through the match and give us a grade.
D-Bry is my boy. I wish that this match went longer. As I said, I think in the preview, just give these guys 20 minutes and just let them tell their story. I was hoping there wasn't going to be any outside shenanigans, but obviously there was. Overall, I thought the match was a disappointment. I think it mostly lands on me having very high expectations for this match, but I think they didn't really give them really an opportunity to tell a great story because a lot of the match did happen outside of the ring with the other three guys that were in the corners of the two competitors. But, I understand why they did this with Daniel Bryan possibly leaving the company at the end of the year. Sami Zayn being a new champion, kind of winning it in questionable circumstances to begin with. Give him a win over Daniel Bryan, yes. A little underhanded, but kind of clean as well. So, similar to Baron Corbin and Elias, I don't think this is going to be the end of the feud.
That's a possibility. It's weird that a feud would kind of be, I don't know, not the end at WrestleMania. You know what I mean? Feuds are supposed to end at Mania. It's what you work for. You build up these stories, and they have a climax and a conclusion at the grandest stage of them all. Given the circumstances, I guess I can kind of understand. All right, next up, the SmackDown Tag Team Championships are on the line due to an illness that Miz had. He had to pull out, so it was a singles triple threat tag team title match. John Morrison represents Miz and Morrison. Kofi represents the New Day, and Jimmy Uso represents the Usos. And Morrison, interesting finish, but he got the job done. This was the best match on the show for me. I'm not gonna lie. I'll give it a B. I'll give it a B. Empty arena. You could really hear the impact on the flesh. You could hear the ladder impact. The Spanish fly that Morrison did to Kofi was great. Uso splash. Morrison taking that bump onto the ladder, that back fall onto the ladder, grabbing the titles, falling down, successfully retaining the titles for him and Miz. I thought it was good stuff.
I like the match as well. I think traditionally this was the best match of the show. In ring wise, we're going to get to the last match. I haven't asked you what your opinion on is, so I have no idea what you think of that finale. But I think this match was really good. I'm kind of with you in that B. I think I give it a B, not a B plus. I think just the circumstances. This and with the Braun Strowman match, they don't tell us anything. They didn't give us an explanation for why this match was taking place. Just be straight up with your audience. Just say Miz was unable to compete. You don't have to go super in depth and saying he was sick, especially during these times. You don't want people to speculate. Just say Miz was not clear to compete, and since the match was booked already, we did this. It's just something that WWE isn't doing, especially with those two matches on SmackDown. But overall, I agree with you. The match was well worked. A lot of hard-hitting action. The only spot I didn't like was the spot where Uso goes from outside the ring going splat. It wasn't as bad as Elias, but it was clearly a cut to where he landed on a crash pad, and then they go to a different camera angle where he's laying there on the mat. So I wasn't a big fan of that. I was surprised. Besides the main event, obviously, they didn't take too many obvious liberties and camera cuts and retakes that I could really pick up on, but that was kind of the obvious one that I figured out on the show.
Hey, yeah, absolutely. Do you have a grade for it?
I would give it probably a B plus. Probably best match of the show.
Yeah, I think we can say that. I think we can. We have some fan mail. Hooty Hoo 420.
Hooty hoo.
Mates, this is the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Don't know what to think. Actually mind blown. Dudes, so are we. So are we. Alright, Jack of all trades. Due to the circumstances, I'm not mad at the Becky Baszler finish. Yeah, I'm not mad at it either. What else do we have? Flo. You remember Flo? Do you like Flo, Brandon?
Fellow SF State student. Well, he's a graduate now. I should be graduating, but because of all this bullshit, I'm not going to have a ceremony. So whatever. I'm not mad.
There you go. That's okay. Flo says, I thought the best match was Gronk versus Mojo versus Truth for the 24/7 championship. And then he goes on to say, R.I.P. Goldberg, damn, R.I.P. AJ for real. I'm reading out of the group chat. Bobby, he's been on the show. He was a member of the Four Sportsmen. He says the worst thing of all time. Carlos says that's WWE for you. Carlos has always been a WWE hater. Don't believe anything he says. All right, and then I guess we're gonna move over to the Instagram DMs. While I'm moving over to that, tell us about Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins.
Well, Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins coming out being CrossFit Jesus and all, all white, very sleek. Kevin Owens coming out in his KO Mania 4 t-shirt. Overall, I kind of thought that this match and the Daniel Bryan Sami Zayn match was going to open each night, going to come out, have the workhorses, have a solid 15-plus minute match. That wasn't exactly the case, but I think this match definitely was better than the Daniel Bryan Sami Zayn match. It lived up to the hype more. It was more of a brawl style match, but that's kind of what the feud called for it because it was kind of a blood feud. Overall, Seth Rollins gets DQ'd, but then Kevin Owens being the babyface saying, don't be like that, don't be a little bitch. His words, not mine. But
no, we can cuss on this.
Well, I've already cussed before, but that shows you're not paying attention to me, Philip.
Hey, I'm mind blown. I'm flabbergasted at the events in which I have just witnessed with my eyeballs. But keep going.
I was hoping for a Teddy Long run in and say, hold on a minute, player. We're going to restart this match. It's going to be a no disqualification.
And you're going one-on-one with The Undertaker! No?
Holla holla.
Holla 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 if you hear me, player.
But overall, the big spot of the night, Kevin Owens jumping off of the WrestleMania sign that was behind the announced table. I thought that it was going to be a cutaway because they kind of did something to where he jumped and he was out of frame. They cut again. But they went back to the replay at the end of the show, or at the end of the match, and it showed that one continuous shot from him jumping off, falling through. I mean, shout out to Kevin Owens for taking that risk. It didn't seem like there was a crash pad like when Shane jumped off the Hell in a Cell a few years ago. But, if they want to risk going to a hospital during these times, let them do it. I thought this match was pretty good. I think I'll give it a B. Really hard worked, hard hitting stuff. But once again, I think if there was a crowd, it would have been much better because I think this was very high energy, but without the crowd, it kind of dies a little bit.
Absolutely, you're absolutely right. I'll give it a B as well. It needed the crowd. They would have popped huge for the for an Owens spot like that. And Brightest Day X says the women's tag title match was decent. Loving when Asuka and Kairi scream like crazy. How much money do we all need to pay to never hear Corbin sing again? $0. I want to hear Corbin sing all the time. Was not expecting Bex to win. Yeah, neither was I. Or actually, no, I picked her to win. What am I talking about? Ladder match was crazier than I expected without a crowd. You're right. That was great. By God, Kevin. Yes, by God, Kevin. Does anyone else care Braun is Universal Champion now? I honestly don't. Brandon?
I mean, it happened. I guess we're just going to jump right into the match. Once again, we didn't hear anything, no Roman Reigns mention whatsoever throughout the entire show. Even going into SmackDown, they just said, oh, now Braun Strowman's facing Goldberg for the Universal title. Barely said anything about Roman Reigns. It's kind of weird. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here, but I wonder if WWE is a little perturbed at Roman doing the SmackDown tapings and then bailing out before the WrestleMania tapings, and they don't give us any angle, any promo. Triple H even said, like, look, we have something planned to rewrite this, and literally nothing happens, so I don't understand what's going on with the Roman Reigns situation.
I don't know, man. WWE, they don't like to mention things. They like to shy away from things, hoping that we'll forget. So I timed this match. 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Oh my god, dude. I highly doubt that Braun's actually happy that he won the title. This is his 10th try. He finally won the title against a 50-something-year-old man. A title that doesn't even matter. A title that's cursed and has plagued the numerous champions that have had it, and it was in front of nobody. Like, come on, man. I wouldn't be proud of any of this. It was this. Look, I'm being generous. This was a D-. This was not good at all.
I mean, I think there was only two moves that was going on the entire match. Goldberg did the spear, and Braun Strowman did the power slam. There was some reversals with the jackhammer and the power slam, but for the most part, you can count all the moves that happened on your hand.
Absolutely. All right, it was the main event of night 1.
I didn't get my grade, Philip.
Oh, what's your grade?
I don't think I've ever done this before. Shout out Boffman. F-.
There you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the main event of night 1, The Undertaker versus the phenomenal AJ Styles. Phenom versus phenomenal one in a bone.
Nice crop top.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, forgot the mic's still on.
I
was talking to the studio audience.
Oh my. I'm not wearing a crop. I'm not wearing a crop top, ladies and gentlemen.
Usually the mic is off, but this time the mic is on.
Oh my god. Taker Styles Boneyard match, man.
I wanted to do the Curveballs and Chair Shots crossover, but we didn't get Dominic on the line, but we got the studio audience on the line.
We have the studio. What happened to Dominic? Where's he at?
Dominic's right here. Dominic, would you like to give your thoughts on the Boneyard match?
Tell Dominic to talk to me. Tell him. Put him on. Let's do it. Let's do it right now.
I guess so.
Dominic, introduce yourself to the Bulletcast, man.
Well, hello, everyone. I'm Dominic. I am, I guess, one half of Curveballs and Chair Shots Brandon, who, he's our mutual friend. He's told me so many things about the Bulletcast. I used to listen. And then, we became, what would I say? Not enemies, we're,
we got heat?
Fake heat. I'm trying to think of the, we're not, what's the word I'm looking for, Brandon?
Frenemies? Is it? I don't know.
Dominic embarrassed himself. I had to take the microphone away from him. He might have had a little too much to drink today. I'm sorry.
It's okay. He's pounding those claws?
He's pounding the PBRs because he's a white redneck hick. Shout out to all the white redneck hicks out there. We love you.
Taker embraced his white redneck hick gimmick with the American Badass coming back. CBS Sports gave this match an A. I'll give it a B for Boneyard. It was interesting, it was cinematic, it needed to be shot like a movie, and that's exactly what it was. There were druids, there was Gallows, there was Anderson. Taker almost got buried alive. He didn't happen, he reemerged from the grave after he got put in it. The light shining behind him. He gets thrown off the roof. Taker big boots him into the grave. Empties the sand, the cement in him. AJ's hand is sticking out of it. Taker hops on his bike, and he's riding down the road. He had one last ride. Yeah.
Now at the beginning of the show, I thought maybe you didn't like it all that much. You kind of talked about the group chat that you guys have, and it seems though that not a lot of them, if I can speak English right now, it didn't seem like they liked it all that much. But I'm going to be with CBS Sports on this one. I'm going to give it A. I'm going to say that this was my favorite match of the show. I think because of the circumstances with no crowd, I think this is something that you have to, you don't have to do it, but I think it was, think it was well shot, well lit. It told a good story. It was a little awkward because of like the music in the background and something we don't normally see. Yes, we've had the House of Horrors. That's a
Damn.
House of Horrors is a completely different match.
Sat through that, man. Don't remind me.
But overall, I very much enjoyed it. I think I was kind of like, when it first started, I was like, oh god, this is going to be corny. I thought it was going to be very similar to when the New Day faced the Wyatt family after the Hardys were doing their whole shtick. But, to be honest, I quite enjoyed this. It was hokey, it was campy, and I loved every bit of it.
I would hope so, man. Hootie Hoo 420 did not. Are you ready? Are you ready for it?
Stay ready, so don't got to get ready.
What in the bloody fuck was that? That's all he said. And then last up, I'll go back to the Instagram DMs. And Brightest Day X has one last thing to say. Dun, 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 dun. American Badass is back, and I enjoyed every minute of it. No, this was good shit, pal. This was it.
Only negative, Philip, is we didn't get Limp Bizkit back. I was sad.
Dude, I thought about it, and we didn't get Kane. Be like, that's gotta be Kane! I would have popped for one of those. Dude, if Matt Hardy was still with the company, I would have popped if Woken Matt or Broken Matt made an appearance. That shit would have been dope. But it's whatever. As I scroll through the Instagram, and yeah.
I can see why this match would be very polarizing. I just think this whole show, you kind of got to give him a little slack, and you can't grade it the way you would normally do a WrestleMania. For me, I was expecting something like this, and maybe something even more drastic and crazy and kooky is going to happen tomorrow with the Firefly Funhouse. I don't think the Firefly Funhouse is going to main event the show, but I heard, not a rumor, but I heard an idea that maybe the Firefly Funhouse should just be completely animated. That'd be a cool sight to see.
I don't know about that, man.
Probably not going to happen, but just an idea.
I do not know. As I go through Twitter and see what people are saying, oh man, people are just having fun with this. The fucking tombstone, the hand, okay, it's good now. It sucks, but it's so hilariously awful. Y'all watch some pretty awful TV and movies if you think that this is good shit or even entertaining. It's fun bad for the record. Say Sarah. This all works in Royal Rumble 1994. Oh, man. Janela is already booking half of the Druids for next year's clusterfuck. Brandon, what's your overall grade for night one?
Overall grade for night one of WrestleMania, I will give it a B+. I think
Really?
I'm being a little generous, but I think I had such low expectations that they kind of surpassed them a little bit. No one match really completely blew me away, but besides the Baron Corbin Elias match and then the whole thing with the 24/7 title, no match I thought was just so god awful that it was just terrible. I did like that the show was only 3 hours long, which is definitely a positive. 3 hours today, 3 hours tomorrow, a complete 6 hours, which is still shorter than I think what last year's WrestleMania was. So that's, you got to take the positives out of this.
You do. The last one I want to read, Voices of Wrestling. You just know Vince thinks the Boneyard match bullshit is great. We make movies. Oh god, this is great. I'll give it a C+. Give it a C+. This could have been a lot worse, but I think all the hokey stuff is really out of the way, except for the Firefly Funhouse match that's going to be taking place tomorrow on night 2. But ladies and gentlemen, that would do it for the Bulletcast recap of WrestleMania Night 1. We had Dominic from Curveballs and Chair Shots on. Loved having him. Maybe he can come back tomorrow and we can get the Skype working to where all three of us could be on for the same call at the exact same time. The Bulletcast title is on the line yet again for tomorrow night. And
would you like to give me a scoreboard reading. How many points am I behind right now?
A scoreboard reading. Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. You were down 2 points.
Can I make a late move and put my money on Drew McIntyre?
You want?
I'm gonna make the move.
It technically hasn't happened yet. So
I'm gonna get aggressive. I was kind of contemplating last week or on Thursday, but I think kind of sitting on it, stewing about it. I got to make some moves. Down 2 games. I think I got you with Otis and Dolph Ziggler, and maybe I'll get something else with Sasha winning the title, and then skirt past you with maybe the main event, Drew McIntyre winning in front of nobody.
That's a possibility. We don't know. We'll see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for Brandon, myself, and even Dominic for this recap of WrestleMania Night 1. Brandon, myself, and possibly even Dominic and their studio audience could be back tomorrow night for Night 2. You don't want to miss it. Happy WrestleMania week, everybody.
This has been the Bulletcast. Thank you for listening.